Ooh, rub that dash. Yeah. She likes it clean. The good old Vulcan S. This is one of the bikes that I wanted to start with when I first started riding. I wanted to get one of these. It was an orange one. I think it was 2015. So I started riding, what, 3 years ago? And I wanted to get the orange one that was sitting in the showroom at the Kawasaki dealership. But I didn't. I decided to go with the Ninja 300 instead. And I don't regret it. But as you can see, I've come back around to this bike after my Ninja 300. I like that Ninja, but the seating position on it was just uncomfortable after a minute. I'd say probably about 30 minutes of riding. The hunched over feeling that you get when you're riding it kind of started to hurt my shoulder blades. Didn't hurt any other part of my body, just the shoulder blades, but I wanted to, be able to ride it for longer, 20 or 30 minutes at a time, so forget about taking a road trip on it. I'm just too tall for that bike, but I liked it while I had it. It was a good bike. I kept it nice and clean. I think I had like 2,500 miles on it when I traded it in for this one. Had decent power. Everybody said, oh, you'll outgrow it. It's not powerful enough. It's too slow. It wasn't. I wasn't even planning on trading it in on this one. So an interesting story. I was just out goofing around one day, I think, and I stopped by Premier Power Sports over here and walked in the showroom, and they had this, I think it was a Husqvarna Vitpillen, however you say it, and a Svartpillen. Yeah, we'll just say Vitpillen and Svartpillen. They're, I think they're based off the Duke 390 engine and chassis, but they look a lot different. One of them's kind of a scrambler looking thing, and the other one's a cafe racer looking bike. So I was in there, Kawasaki dealership, just messing around, and I looked at this. I think it was the Svartpillen. Yeah, that's the black one. Looks like a scrambler. And I got to looking at that thing, and I'm like, I thought that bike was just incredible looking. It looked so cool. So I started thinking to myself, well, maybe I should trade in my Ninja and upgrade, because at that point I had it for what it was, a year and a half almost, 2 years, almost 2 riding seasons. And so I got to looking at it. It was $6,500, I think it was that they wanted for that bike. And the salesman had told me, Kevin's his name, good guy. They told me that there wasn't too many of them that were going to be brought over to the United States, made by, I don't know, the first factory that was going to build them. I don't remember the details, but anyways, really cool bikes. So I kind of wanted one, and I got to looking around at the other bikes while I was there, just kind of standing around. And this Vulcan had been sitting back there. This is a 2017. This has been sitting in a showroom, for a long time, and I had already gotten over it, wanting to get a Vulcan for my first bike. I didn't, because I thought, even though these bikes aren't heavy, I wanted something that I could sit on and feel like I could just control the shit out of it. So I got the Ninja, but this one had been sitting in their showroom for quite a while, and it was discounted. I think it was $5,900 for this bike. So once I saw the price in this, and I started remembering, I wanted one of these when I first started riding. So I got to thinking, was it Svartpillen or Vulcan? Svartpillen, Vulcan. And then it started a whole nother process of, well, there's also the Kawasaki Z650, which uses this same motor, because this motor shared from the Ninja 650 to the Vulcan S to the Z650. Same motor. They're just geared a little bit different, I think. So I was thinking about 3 bikes then. And I got to tossing the idea around in my head. Yeah, I was pretty convinced I was going to trade in my Ninja and upgrade to a bigger motored bike. Although the Svartpillen wasn't too much of an upgrade. approximately another 90 cc's, and I think maybe another 10 horsepower, which on a bike is quite a bit, but the Smart Pillion doesn't have a lot more power than the Ninja 300 did. So in with talking to Kevin, the salesman down there, you know, what his thoughts were, he was kind of thinking almost the same thing as me, that the 390 Smart Pillion, sorry, wasn't much of an upgrade. It's just a completely different style. Really cool looking bike. I wouldn't mind having one still, but I wanted something, I guess I talked myself into coming back around to this Vulcan, because these are just cool bikes. I mean, they get great reviews all around, great power, and these things haul ass for only being a 650. So I came back around to this bike and got it, and I don't regret it whatsoever. I love this bike. I got 1,609 miles on it now. I've had it from, well, I guess I've had it a year now. I know 1,609 miles isn't a lot, but you got to understand I have 3 other motorcycles, which I ride equally as much. You know, I got my Grom, I got my Z125, and I have my Honda Shadow, which I don't ride that one too much more because the front rim on it's got a bend in it, and it kind of wobbles when you ride it, so I don't ride it too much until I get that taken care of. So yeah, 1,610 miles now, not a lot, but the first day after I bought this bike, so I bought it, took it home, and the power, I remember when I first rode this thing off the lot, because I'd never ridden it before. I just decided, screw it, I'm going to get it, whatever. Great reviews, not everybody can be wrong about it. And the power of this thing, well, the clutch was really touchy, the gas was really touchy, the brakes are really touchy, as they are with, you know, pretty much every brand new motorcycle. Everything's really touchy until it kind of gets a few miles on it. But I remember leaving the parking lot of that place and just going back to the neighborhood to get back out to the main street, and I'm just going really super slow and thinking to myself, holy crap, this thing is kind of scary. Because my only experience was with basically that Ninja 300, and I had also had my Honda Shadow by then, which is a V-twin 600 cc motorcycle, but it doesn't have nowhere near the power. It's got about the same horsepower as that Ninja does, which I think, like, I don't know, 37 or 40 horsepower, something like that, so not a lot. And it's kind of a pig. It sounds really good, and it's got good torque and everything, but it's not fast, and neither is that Ninja. But this thing, when I got on it and gave it a little gas, I was like, oh my god, this thing is fast. So I got it home, rode it around for a little bit, just getting used to it, and then I parked it, and the next day, me, my nephew, and my friend Pete, Shaky's Videography, we were going to ride out to Cleellum, which I don't know how many miles, like 90 miles. I don't know, it's about a 2-hour trip from here. So we're going to ride up to Cleellum. And since I had just gotten another, you know, my brand new bike, of course I'm going to take it. So about 10 o'clock the next morning, we set out. We hit the road, and the weather's beautiful. It's like this, except it's, you know, 65, and the temperature had been in the 60s for a while, so there wasn't that chill in the air like there is now, because the temperature keeps dropping down into the 30s and then coming up to the high 50s, so you always have that chill in the air for a while. So the weather was nice, didn't have that chill in the air, so we get out and start riding. And I had on, you know, full riding gear like I always do. If I'm going to, you know, do anything more than just riding around in town, I always wear all my gear. Well, hell, I do that all, no matter where I'm going. I put my gear on when I go down to the convenience store in my Grom. But so anyways, we get out there and start riding and head up through Yakima Canyon, and the weather's beautiful and everything, and the trip up there is just awesome. And here's a bunch more gravel. And we get up there and we visit with my sister for a while, and we take a ride farther up one of the forest roads. I don't know if it's a forest road, but just some road back behind Cleveland that leads you up by some lakes. Then we keep riding out. We see some clouds rolling in when it's about time to go, and well, we look at the weather radar app, and yeah, it's pouring rain to the south of us, so we figured, well, we're just going to wait for a while. So we hung out for about an hour and a half. So this is probably around, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the weather's not getting any better. So we decided, screw it, we're just going to start heading south, and it'll probably clear up by the time we get down that way. So we leave Cle Elum and start riding south, back the way we came. And it starts sprinkling, and then it starts raining, and then it starts pouring. And it's dumping in buckets. I mean, you can't hardly see in front of you. And here we are on our motorcycles. My nephew, he's still got his Ninja 300, so he's riding his Ninja 300. My buddy Pete's on a Sportster, and I'm on this thing. This thing had like a whole 110 miles on it. It's still like brand new. And here I am taking it right directly into a thunderstorm. Well, I don't know if it was thunder, but it was pouring like crazy. Huge rainstorm. So I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, what have I done? This isn't good.